Here's the thing about the Microsoft DP600 Fabric Analytics Engineer exam. Microsoft loves 4-option questions where every choice sounds like Fabric jargon you've heard. The one you pick comes down to whether you know which feature does which exact thing. Direct lake versus import versus direct query. Shortcuts versus copies. OLS versus RLS. Static versus dynamic. Today, 10 real exam-style questions. At least 2 of these will catch you off guard. Let's find out which ones. Welcome to PrepMyCert. This is the Microsoft Fabric Analytics Engineer Associate Certification DP600. 10 questions. 10 chances to test yourself before the real thing. Let's go. Starting with the SQL Analytics Endpoint. The trap here is the keyword manage. The SQL Analytics endpoint in Fabric operates in which mode over Lakehouse Delta tables, allowing users to query data and manage the semantic model. See read-only. The SQL Analytics endpoint over a Lakehouse is read-only by design. You query the underlying Delta tables, and you can build a semantic model on top, but you cannot insert, update, or delete through this endpoint. Writes go through Spark notebooks, data flows, or pipelines that update the Lakehouse files directly. Read-write would imply you could modify data via SQL. That's reserved for the warehouse, not the Lakehouse. Write-only and execute-only aren't real Fabric concepts. Now shortcuts. This is one of Fabric's defining features, and the wording trips people up. Which statement is true about using shortcuts in a Fabric Lakehouse for querying remote data? A. Shortcuts allow querying remote data without moving it. That's the whole point. Virtual references through OneLake to data in S3, ADLS, Dataverse, even other lakehouses. Zero duplication, always current. Option B is the opposite of how shortcuts work. They're specific to OneLake-backed items, not arbitrary databases. And shortcuts are cross-database. They don't eliminate that, they just make it transparent. Foundational Data Warehouse Design. Schema 101. What's the primary difference between a dimension table and a fact table in a data warehouse? A. Dimensions hold descriptive attributes, product names, region names, customer segments. Fact tables hold quantitative measures, revenue, units sold, click counts. Facts reference dimensions via foreign keys, forming the classic star schema. Option B reverses the definitions. Load patterns vary by table, not by type. Ingestion and extraction are ETL concepts, not table types. DAX Studio for diagnosing slow Power BI reports. 2 answers look similar. Your Power BI report is slow. You suspect inefficient DAX joins. You open DAX Studio. Which feature shows you the step-by-step query execution flow, including join operations? A query plan. It's the DAX engine's execution graph, showing physical and logical operators and where time is spent in each step. Server timings shows raw storage engine versus formula engine durations, useful for measuring total time, but not for visualizing the join steps. Query history shows past queries you've run, not their internals. Metadata Explorer shows the model schema, not query behavior. Now capturing every DAX query Power BI emits. There's a specific trace for it. You want DAX Studio to capture every DAX query Power BI desktop emits during a session, so you can analyze them later. Which feature? C. All queries trace. It's a server-side trace that captures every DAX query the engine receives, from visuals, refreshes, or external tools, into a scrollable log. Query Builder helps you compose new queries, not capture existing ones. Server timings shows timings for one query, not a multi-session capture. VertiPack Analyzer inspects the in-memory storage engine. ADLS, Object-Level Security in Power BI. Test your terminology. What does object-level security in Power BI restrict access to? B. Specific tables, columns, and their metadata. ADLS hides specific tables and columns from users in defined roles. They don't even appear in the field list or query results or error messages. Entire report access is managed via workspace permissions, not ADLS. Visual level controls live on the report. And ADLS doesn't restrict roles themselves, it restricts what tagged roles can see. Now the question I teased. Static versus dynamic RLS, and one DAX expression doesn't even use RLS-related functions. Which of the following is an example of a static row-level security rule in Power BI? B. Region country equals quote France quote. Always filters to France regardless of who logs in, textbook static rule. Anything using UCRPRINCIPLNME or username is dynamic, the filter changes per user. Now greater than date 2024-11 is time-based, but always true after that date, and it's not really a security rule at all. Now Power BI Premium Capacity, Large Dataset Storage Format. 3 answers sound reasonable. You're optimizing Power BI Premium Capacity for increasingly large datasets. What's the primary advantage of the Large Dataset Storage Format feature? C. It removes the default per dataset size cap so datasets can grow up to the capacity's total size or an admin set maximum. Premium normally caps each dataset at 10 gigabytes. The large format lets you go bigger. Encryption is always on in Power BI service regardless. Refresh speed isn't the primary benefit. Compression doesn't change with this toggle. Now Delta Lake. For commands, 3 are fake. Which command shows the history of changes made to a delta table in Spark SQL? B. Describe history table name. It returns a row per operation, write, merge, delete, optimize, with timestamp, user, and operation parameters. Essential for time travel and auditing. Show history, select history. History view are not valid syntax. Last one. Fabric licensing. The gotcha is the F-SKU number. You manage Power BI for a team of 10 users. You consider buying an F2 Fabric capacity to keep costs low. What's the limitation? The F2 requires each user to also have a Power BI Pro license to consume content. F64 and above include free viewer licensing as a side effect. F2 doesn't. F2 supports most Fabric features at small scale, can absolutely publish reports, and is production supported. The cost catch is per-user licensing on top of capacity cost. That's all 10. So how did you do? 8 or more and you're in solid shape for the DP 600 exam. 7 or below. That's exactly why you're here. The trick now is you know where the traps are. Comment your score below. I want to see how everyone did. If you want the full experience, hundreds of questions just like these, with detailed explanations for every single answer, check out PrepMyCert.com. Lifetime access, one payment, full refund if you don't pass. The link is right there in the description. Go crush that exam.